So today's practice idea is about using your instrument like the human voice. And if you are a singer, it's about using your own voice like somebody else's voice. And so this is an exercise that I had to do when I was at university, and it's really fun and actually really powerful. And our theme this week is the mirror. So we are using the idea of a mirror, of copying, of imitating. So we're going to look into the mirror and take the voice as the thing that we are going to try and reflect back into our own instrument or into our own physical voice. So I've got an exercise for beginner players, I've got a more advanced exercise, and then at the very end of the video, if you'd like to stay, there is a short relaxation exercise so that you can get into a nice, calm, positive space for your music practice today. Strike the spark. So welcome to Practice Space. I'm Erica if you're new, and this channel is all about having something new to practice every day. And I post videos Monday to Saturday, so you can subscribe. And if you ever want to take a lesson with me, go deeper into a topic, I'll leave a link in the description below. So the voice is the original instrument, and every other instrument in some way tries to capture some of the qualities of the human voice. And this is an exercise that everybody had to do at my university at the Victorian College of the Arts in Melbourne, even drummers. So if you are a drummer, you can definitely do this exercise and you will learn something from it. So this is not about perfection. This is actually about focusing on phrasing, articulation, dynamics, and the color of our sound. So the first version of the exercise, which is the easy version for more beginner musicians, is to take a vocal recording or a recording with a singer that you really love. So find someone whose voice you really like the sound of, someone whose voice just gets you here. And it doesn't matter what style of music it is, just something that you're going to be happy to spend a little bit of time with. And so you're going to learn to play along with this recording just using one note. So if you have a pitched instrument, using just one note. And I want you to focus on 3 parameters when you do this. The first parameter is rhythmic accuracy. So trying to hit the notes exactly when the singer hits the notes, sustain the notes for as long as the singer sustains the notes. And so the second parameter is to work on the overall contour, the overall shape. And perhaps you use dynamics for this. So you work on the dynamic shape, work out where is the peak of the line and then where is the kind of fall of the line. And then the third parameter to think about is the breaths. Where does the singer breathe? And I want you to also breathe on your instrument at these points, whether you have to breathe to play your instrument or not. And so if you play an instrument where you don't have to breathe and you don't add breaths into the way you're playing, it can be actually quite exhausting to listen to this breathless line that continues on with no space. So this is a good exercise in shaping your phrases around this idea of breath, whether you have to breathe to play your instrument or not. And I'll give a little note, if you're a drummer or a guitarist or a bass player or a pianist and you play an instrument that doesn't have the sustain of, say, like a bowed violin or even a singer, then you may add a 4th parameter, and that is to find that sense of sustain by letting the note reverberate naturally and cutting off the reverberation when the singer cuts off the sustain of the note. So how can you have that sense of sustain when your instrument doesn't allow you to have a long sustained line the same way a singer does? And if you're a drummer and you don't know what to play with my one note restriction, then I would say a good thing to do is to choose one stick or one brush and one particular drum, and maybe you have to decide which is the best drum to emulate this particular line. And so using that one stick and that one drum, the same as the other instrumentalists, trying to emulate the rhythm and the contour and the breaths of the line. And so finally, if you're a singer, you have it a little bit easier. You don't have to transcribe the music onto your instrument. You can just use your ears and sing. But you might also find the one note restriction quite difficult, just to sing one note if the singer's singing other notes. So if you're finding that hard, then I give you permission to sing the melody along with the singer. So if you want to take this exercise a bit further, or you're a more advanced player and you feel like a challenge today, the next step is to learn the phrase note for note. So you're going to transcribe the notes and then learn to play them on your instrument. And if you're a drummer, then you have to be creative. Maybe you open your whole kit up and you designate different parts of the kit to different notes in the phrase. And then once you've learned the notes, you're going to focus on each of those notes in even greater detail than you focused on in the easy version of the exercise. So the first thing you're going to think about is the beginning of the notes, or the attack. And so is the attack hard? Is the attack more soft? Is the attack breathy? Is there a little cough or a hiccup or some kind of a sharp beginning to the note? Maybe we would call it a glottal attack in singing parlance. And so then after the note starts, we have the sustain, and often this is a vowel sound. So thinking about the color of that vowel. Is the color different for different vowels, for different words? Is the color bright? Is the color dark? Is the color airy? Is the color light? Is the color very nasal? How do you play all of those colors on your instrument? And then when we get to the end of the note, how does the note end? Is the note cut off sharply? Does the note fade away? Is there some vibrato that appears just shimmering at the end of the note? And so then finally we have some articulations like slides and glissandi, or vibrato, as I said before, but maybe the whole line has a big, beautiful, lush vibrato. And of course, if you play an instrument like piano, you don't necessarily have the ability to play vibrato, unfortunately. Sorry, piano players. So how do you capture the sense of vibrato on your instrument when you don't have that available to you? This is an exercise that takes all instrumentalists and singers into some really interesting creative territory. And if you're a singer, you don't necessarily have to try and make your voice sound exactly like this other singer. So the task is not to imitate, and you may have to transpose up or down an octave depending what the range of the phrase is to suit your own voice. So you're not trying to imitate this voice, you're actually trying to use your own voice and borrow ideas from the way that this singer phrases their own music and work out how you can emulate them with what your own physiology allows you to do. And that's the same for all instruments. How do you emulate what this singer is doing with what your instrument allows you to do? So this is actually an exercise that you could spend a lot of time on. So I suggest taking a very short phrase for this first taste of the exercise. And then if you really enjoy it, you could maybe expand and start learning more of the song throughout your practice for the week. And I think you'll find you really learn a lot about how to play your instrument and all of the amazing sounds and textures and colors that are available to you on your instrument that you may not have discovered before you tried this exercise. So if you try this exercise, let me know in the comments what song you pick, what singer, and what instrument you play, and how you go finding ways of sounding like a singer on your instrument. And if you like this video, then it's great if you hit the like button, because that gives me some motivation to keep making these videos. And you can subscribe for daily videos. There's new content Monday to Saturday. And finally, if you'd like, you can stay for a very short relaxation exercise to get you in a nice, creative, exploratory place for your practice today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. So we're going to take a few minutes to prepare for practice, to relax the body and the mind. You can take out your instrument, have any music, books, pencils ready. Then you can sit or stand with your instrument or without. And we're going to start with a soft focus in the eyes. Bring your awareness to the space you're in. Notice any sounds in the room, any smells. And then with the next exhale, closing the eyes. And we bring our awareness in to our bodies, feeling the weight of the body on the chair, or feeling the feet connected with the floor, maybe feeling the instrument in your hands, its texture under your fingers, and then bringing the awareness further in still to the breath, and to the place where you feel it. Maybe the nose, the throat, the chest, the diaphragm. Feeling the rise of each inhale and the release of each exhale. And as you notice the breath, on each exhale, letting every muscle in your body release just a little bit more. Each exhale brings more relaxation to the body and more stillness to the mind. And if thoughts arise, just let them do what it is they want to do. Maybe they float by, maybe they stay. Just bringing your awareness back to the breath, back to each inhale and to the release of the exhale. Every breath, relaxing the muscles in the body just a tiny bit more. And then bringing the awareness back out to the body, to the weight of the body in the chair, the feeling of your feet connected to the floor, the feeling of your instrument under your fingers. Then bringing the attention further out into the space, noticing any sounds in the room, however small they might be. And then gently blinking the eyes open, ready to start practice for the day.